Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me. This talk is one of a number of talks within a three-part series where I discuss what enterprise architecture is, how to implement it, and ways to mature the enterprise architecture practice within an organization. This talk is about the architecture team. So if you think about an organization, there is always one person that is accountable for the organization. In my example, I chose the CEO. They are accountable for the organization and everything it does. They sit at a very strategic level, and they think about things at an enterprise level, a strategic level. They never get into the details. They don't worry about a lot of the specifics. They don't know everything. What they do is they rely on the next level down. In my example, I chose VPs. So the VPs are accountable for a silo within the organization. It's usually a branch or a division of the organization. And again, they don't know everything about their specific area. What they do is they'll rely on the next level down. In my example, I used directors. Well, the architecture team is a similar concept. This does not represent a reporting structure, nor does it represent every organization. It really depends on your size of your organization. I'm using this just to sort of get my point across about the different strategic levels and what each of these areas thinks of, and how an enterprise architect kind of relies on different people within an organization. So an enterprise architect is similar to that CEO concept. They're accountable for that consolidated architecture. They're the ones that are at a strategic and enterprise level, and what they're doing is they're connecting the dots across all of these 5 disciplines. They work with the CEO to understand the direction of the organization, understand the mandate, understand what the person accountable for the organization is thinking and what they want to achieve. They then translate that down to the architecture space. So the EA, similar to a CEO, does not know all the specifics, all the detail of everything within the architecture space. They do not know the details of all applications, of all technology, of all processes. They just can't. They sit at that strategic enterprise level, and their job is to connect the dots and rely on the people underneath it. So the next level down, the people they rely on are called discipline architects. There's security, technical, application, information, and business. These people are similar to a VP where they're accountable for a slice of the architecture. So an application architect would focus on all of the applications or the functions within an organization. They would hold the application architecture diagrams. It's then the enterprise architect that would take that and map it across all of the different disciplines. Now again, your application architect, depending on the size of your organization, may not know all the specifics of all the applications. What they do is they will rely on the next level down. It was directors within the organization, it's solution architects within the architecture team. So a solution architect in the application discipline, application space, usually focuses on a specific application or a number of applications. They would know the fine details within that application and be able to answer any questions that the application architect may have. Similar, you look at the information architect, they rely on solution architects. Their solution architects would be people within the records management space, or the data architects, archivists, the content managers, document management. They worry about everything to do with information, and they rely on different people around the organization to pull the details together and pull the details out. And then it is the information architect that is accountable for the information or data architecture artifacts. Business architect, their solution architects typically are business analysts. Business analysts will focus on business processes. They may understand the full process, or they may even, depending on how big that process is, focus on just a specific section of the process. So again, your enterprise architect is not a technical architect. Your enterprise architect is not a solution architect. They would never solely look at applications or a specific solution, if you will. What their job is to stay at that enterprise strategic level and cross all the disciplines. So what's interesting to note, depending on the size of your organization, they may be filling gaps within this space. They may be at this level. It may be their job that they not only have to pull all the information together, but they're also pulling within the different disciplines as well. So again, it just depends on the size of your organization. A strong enterprise architect has worked in a number of these disciplines and understands the details at this level. That enables them to be able to pull the details up and ask the right questions to ensure they have a complete solution. The other interesting thing to note that as the information from the CEO kind of comes down and they disperse it across the different areas, if there are any architectural issues or questions or decisions to be made within any of the disciplines, it comes up the same sort of chain of command to the enterprise architect, who then takes it to the CEO or the senior executive team for a decision or for a resolution. So that is an enterprise architect, and that's the level they think of. There's a lot of misconceptions out there of what an enterprise architect is. I've even heard such things as they don't exist because they can't know everything. Well, no, their job is not to know everything. They're not going to keep up to date on all of the different mobile advancements or cloud advancements or anything like that. What they do is they rely on their technical architects and their solution architects to help bring that together. What they are an expert on is the ability to pull all of this together and realize what they need and what is important to tie together, and what is important to communicate up and what is important to communicate down. So for more information on this topic and others that I have discussed, please visit my website where you can find more information. This is the last segment in Chapter 1. So next time I'm going to be jumping into Chapter 2, which is all about the implementation. So I'm going to get into some specifics on the approaches I have used, the techniques I have used to actually get traction in the enterprise architecture space.